This season has truly been a delight. Seeing how much Erina has improved as a character, seeing how she's opened up and she's no longer like this ice queen, this very cold individual like she was at the beginning of the series, I'm just so happy to see this new side to her. This side to where she's bubbly, trying to be happy, taking one for the team. I'm just like, you know what, I love Season 3. Regardless of how some people feel about the anime adaptation of Food Wars and how the animation could be a lot better, I do have to say that I have loved these recent episodes, even if some of the things when it comes to Central are very questionable, especially the objective that they want to accomplish. But the big thing here, though, is Erina takes the forefront for this week's episode, and with other characters as well. But Erina gets a lot of character development in this week's episode. And so let's get right into that. So the entire Team Shokugeki that we saw going on, the mock Team Shokugeki at the beginning of the episode, it was to build teamwork skills and also showcase what each individual is really good at. For instance, we know how Soma is as a character, what he's good at. We have seen it time and time again, and we know what Megami is capable of. We know what Aldini is capable of, Takumi. We know what, Erina in some ways is capable of as well. And just seeing how they were having to interact and make their own food together and, expand upon certain dishes, it allowed them to see what each other is actually capable of. Even if they've seen it from the distance, being able to be in the kitchen with the individual and cook with them, it's a whole new world. It's a different perspective, and they got to see how certain individual chefs are really good at what they do. For instance, Erina got a whole new level of respect for Megami, Takumi, and then Megami and Takumi got a whole new respect for Erina and also Soma. So, it just shows that, because of everything, that little mock battle actually helped them out to gain better teamwork. So when the actual team-based Shokugeki really does happen, they will be able to put up a better challenge because they know what each other is capable of and what they can really do well. And also, them not being able to communicate at all allowed them to really express their cooking in a way and try to figure out how to make the dish even better than it once was. It's kind of like this, okay? What Soma's father did, Saiba, and also what Erina and Soma did, them working together, those three, they made a dish that would not have been possible if they didn't try to clash with their own egos, their own type of food. For instance, Soma and his father Saiba, they've always been going at each other. For instance, having little mock battles and stuff with cooking. It's been a thing since the very beginning of the series. We've seen this time and time again. And we know for a fact that if they were having to make a dish together, they would not just work with each other. For instance, they wouldn't just follow each other's recipe. Like, okay, let's say you had to cook a standard meatloaf. That's what Saiba was doing, which we know for a fact he wouldn't just cook a standard meatloaf. But let's say he was cooking a standard meatloaf. Obviously, Soma, he would not just go along with that. He would do something very unique. He would not just, have a standard recipe, or he wouldn't follow what Saiba wants. He would do something completely different, and that is what they've always been doing. And in a way, Erina, she got dragged into that pace. She got dragged into cooking just like them, and she kind of, in a way, got inspired to be her own person, not follow the rules and just be stuck up and follow the guidebook that everybody learns, which that allowed her to stand up to her father at the end of the episode, which I truly appreciate. That really signifies how much she has developed as a character for her to stand up to the very person that caused her childhood to be ruined and brainwash her. She stood up to the man and is like, look, I am no longer a part of the Elite 10. I don't want to be a part of the Elite 10. If I have to be a part of the Elite 10, and if I am, and I gotta be with you, I don't want that. So she's like, you know what? I quit the Elite 10. I give up my first seat. I will work with them because they are the reason why I am like I am right now, and I want to help them to achieve what they want. And so, her standing up to her father was a great step for her character, and just showcasing how she has changed quite a bit since the series first began. So, getting back into the first part to make this more relevant, see, with her learning from Soma and Saiba, and how they cook, it allows it to where she will be able to express herself as a chef. See, let's think about it like this. Erina, she's a perfectionist. She even says in this episode she is. She is a perfectionist, and it has to follow a certain way of how to cook. For instance, if there's a guidebook on how to cook a certain dish, it has to be cooked that way. She cannot go out of her way and change things and all that to make it different. She doesn't like doing that. She is a perfectionist, and that's why Soma always got on her nerves. But now seeing how they cook, it helps her. It allows her to expand her entire expertise of cooking and allow her to progress from this point on. This is the first true time to where Erina is going to progress as a chef, because she's always been in this one way of cooking, and now she has her own way of cooking she's going to be learning from this point forward. So I like that. The scene overall, I think, was splendidly done. I think many can agree with me that it was definitely one of the highlights of the episode, just seeing Erina getting very happy and cooking her own dish. Now, speaking of other scenes as well, let's talk about the compliments between the teams. Everybody was complimenting each other, which I thought was hilarious, because, like, usually you would see these characters say, no, my dish is better, no, my dish is better, my dish is better, but they're like, no, your dish is better. Even Erina, she's like, no, your dish is better, and then, Takumi's like, no, your dish is better, Soma, and then, Soma's like, no, your dish is better, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is hilarious, because seeing these characters actually being modest and just saying, yours is better, it allowed them to form a bond. It is stated with the rules that we get in this episode that each side can have as many members as they want, which that makes me kind of curious, because there wasn't really anything stated, unless it was cut out or I didn't interpret it right. There was nothing stated about maybe potential teachers working, or people that are expelled to work, unless that entire dialogue is like, I guess with all the rebels being taken out, you can't, use them anymore. Maybe that's the reason, but technically at this moment, they're not really expelled, though. Even if, expelled students cannot, work with the team-based Shokugeki. Let me explain the reason why. Because all of their student handbooks are apparently locked up in the plushie and all that, so it's not like they're gone. They're not completely removed from the school yet. So, in a way, they're still students, even though they're not allowed to be on the premise right now. So, maybe there is a workaround for them to work with our team to get their grudge match against the Elite 10, who knows. But if there is another thing I was kind of curious about with the rules, though, it was stated that in the past, Saiba, he did a 1v50, which I'm just like, what? Like, this man legit did a 1v50? Like, okay. I know quantity is not as good as quality, but still, 50 chefs working on one dish, it's going to allow you to spend a lot of time to make something truly excellent. And so, seeing how Saiba won against 50 chefs at once is a pretty impressive feat. That man is an absolute monster, and it just puts in perspective that Soma is nowhere near Saiba's level if, he could do something like that. Because we know for a fact, Soma, there's no way he could do a 1v50. I just do not believe he's at that skill level to be able to do something like that. So, because of the way that was done, it makes you believe that this team-based Shokugeki is going to be incredibly unbalanced. For instance, most likely the entirety of the Elite 10 is going to be going up against the 4 students, unless you have it to where the entirety of Central goes up against the 4 individuals, which I could see, Azumi doing something crusty like that, because, numbers don't matter, so he can add as many as he wants. So if he adds all of Central, every single student body of Central on his team, it'd probably be a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000 people up against Soma, which would be ridiculous. And so I could definitely see that being a curveball for this arc, but then it makes me wonder, can they potentially add teachers to their side? Because it was never stated that teachers couldn't work with them. For instance, could someone like Saiba work with Soma? Could Azumi come in and help out his team? I'm very curious on how those little details work, because it wasn't never stated they could or couldn't, so we'll have to find out when the story progresses to that point. But yeah, overall, I think this episode did a fantastic job for setting up for the future. Did a good job with Erina's character development. I love the interactions with Soma and Erina, and even though I wasn't a big shipper of those two, I used to be a Megami Soma shipper, gotta say, I ship the hell out of Erina and Soma now because of these recent episodes. They're just so adorable together. But that's pretty much about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this week's episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Please be honest in the comments below. And I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. Chibi out.